I don't know what I'm doing with this music, but I'm letting it roll. I think I have to fix
It's a great day.
Yeah, it's a great day. There's one of the jams on StreamYard sounds just like porn, and I am really thinking hard about throwing that one in here. Was it this one? There you go. CP3's back, baby. Oh yeah, CP3's here, and he's gonna fix your plumbing. I don't know what. I haven't watched porn since the 1980s, apparently. What's up, everybody? I'm gonna fade out this weird music, and then we're actually gonna do a show. We're in good spirits, man. It's our first ever breaking news show, and I wanted you guys to all see the graphic that I was really proud I put together. So that's why that hung out there for the first minute. What's up, everyone? Dan Besbris, Steve Vidovich. Steve, you want to break the news? Because if I do it, I might just sob a little on air.
Yeah, it finally appears that Chris Paul is going to be back tonight, barring any setbacks in pregame warmups. Chris Haynes reported it. It seems like, 99% chance that Paul is back tonight after almost a full month off away from basketball. When he initially got injured, I was actually blurbing about it. And he even said, I believe in his post game, that it was like a maintenance thing and that they're just taking it really easy with him. And if it was like a playoff game, he would have played or something like that. So I was shocked at how long this dragged on, as I'm sure everybody in the fantasy basketball community it was. But I'm very happy that he's back tonight.
Yeah, I'm trying to share the Chris Haynes tweet just so everybody can see what you're referencing. It was about just a shade over an hour ago. It's not coming up all that great on the screen, but I think folks can see it. You can also see other things that I'm going to then close out of there, like weird DMs that are awaiting my reply. I'm sorry. I'll get to you guys eventually. That was not the intent there. It's my half-cocked effort at technology. But yeah, it's been a really long time, and everybody knows I'm a massive Chris Paul guy. I have him in like most of my Roto leagues. I guess that's not entirely accurate. I have him in like half of my Roto leagues, which I think is actually kind of a low number compared to what I thought would happen. The problem for me, of course, is that I often play in leagues against people that listen to my advice, to our advice at Sports Ethos. And so he wasn't falling to 40 where he was going in a lot of more public drafts. So I didn't get him in all of those places. So this is still a very happy day for me. I think most folks assume I have him in like every single league that I'm in. No, I got people stole him from me. So this was like less of a kick to the nards than you thought it might have been. But what are you expecting, I guess, Steve, as CP3 settles back in? Because it has been now a really long time for him. His last ball game when he left was November 7th, so exactly 1 month ago. And he wasn't shooting the ball well prior to that. Is it possible that this heel thing was actually contributing to his low field goal percent to start the year? Because he really didn't seem like he wanted to shoot very much.
Yeah, I'm unsure about that. I don't know if the heel was affecting him. I mean, he was shooting a career low from the field, and getting what is he, 38 years old? Getting a 38-year-old a month of rest in the middle of the season is always going to be a good thing from a reality perspective, even if it hurts fantasy GMs who are holding on to him. So I definitely see the percentages improve now that he's back and he has a month off. And in my opinion, I think the Suns were doing everything they could to find a way to keep him out of ball games so that he can be fresh for the playoffs. So that makes me a little bit nervous. Maybe we see another little stretch of absence from Paul down the road. And if I was to
Don't
guess
you
with no, with no, knowledge on the situation, I think that they're trying to save him from himself in a reality perspective. But I do see that he'll be on a minutes restriction, in my opinion, tonight, and he'll be eased back into things. I'd love to talk about his replacement as well to see what we're doing with campaign.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So I mean, I'm actually pretty bullish on Paul. I wanted to yell, "Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby," as you were talking about him taking another rest day. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. I'm just excited. I think, I have a feeling that there was a little bit of that going on with CP3 because he's shooting 37% this year. This is a guy that's been around 50 for the better part of like 3 years in a row. The last time he had that low field goal percent was in Houston when they were like, by the way, Chris Paul, you got to take 6.5 3-pointers now. And he's like, but I don't. And they were like, no, you got to do it. You're in Houston now. Oklahoma City, 49%, Phoenix, 50. Last year in Phoenix, 49.5. So that 37 is coming up. The other stuff with him was right around where you'd want it to be. He was around 10 assists prior to that game where he had to leave early, and that sort of artificially sucked his numbers down. So yeah, I'm all about it. I think CP3 is in a really good spot. As far as campaign goes, I'm actually totally fine with dropping, provided like we see that Chris Paul plays tonight, because what did Payne do before Chris Paul got hurt? And then frankly, with apologies, Cam Payne has barely been a 9-cat guy, even with big scoring and assist numbers, because a lot of his other stuff has been kind of clunky, much more suitable for points leagues. Do you see any reason, Steve, to hang on to Payne once we know that Chris Paul is healthy enough to play?
No.
Yes,
Maybe in we're talking much deeper leagues, maybe a 18-team league, then maybe there's an argument, but 12-team league, I would drop him. I like what you're saying, where you keep him just to see how Paul looks tonight and don't drop him before tonight's game. I like that strategy just to make sure that there's no setbacks or anything like that. God forbid. Hopefully we don't get that. I don't want to put that evil on you. So,
keep it at it. Don't speak his name. Yeah, I mean, Payne was playing 16 minutes a game, excuse me, before Paul got hurt. He was in the neighborhood of about 9 points and like 3 assists a night. And I think that was actually a question that popped up on Twitter was like, is there any reason to hang on to Payne? And the answer is most likely no. Is there anything else that could shake out from this? I mean, we know Chris Paul is such an incredible distributor, but interestingly, DeAndre Ayton kind of got going while Paul was out. Does this disrupt any chemistry, or do you think he just drops back in? Because like he'd been there for 2 years, so it's not like you're adding a new piece to the puzzle. That's the only other thing that kicks around in my head with news like this.
Yeah, I mean, I could see a slight negative impact on Devin Booker and his assists. And maybe we see, I don't really see that much else dropping with him, but I could see him taking a slight step back, but we're talking, a half a round or something like that. We're not talking anything major. And I don't see it impacting Ayton negatively.
All right, so here's my last one for you. Chris Paul is ranked 37 on a per game basis, by the way, which I think is actually going to surprise a lot of people because he's been, by his accounts, very bad, and he's still, or prior to his injury, he's still right on his ADP. In like,
Are we talking 9 games or including the game he got hurt?
That's including the game he got hurt. Wow. So if you remove the 10th game where he played, he had 2-2-2-2, or he went full Yahtzee prior to coming out. Then he was even higher than that. Is there a way, Steve, you think you could buy on Chris Paul, and would you buy on Chris Paul? Because it would be hard, I think, to get him from someone who waited through this full month. But like, let's say he comes back tonight and he's just sort of only okay. What would you give up for him? And like, it's a hard question, so I'll just throw my own answer in there. I would happily give up anyone at or around where he's ranked right now, because it feels like he has only upwards room. He almost couldn't be worse than he was to start this year, and he was still a late third rounder, early fourth.
Yeah, I would go. I would try to start with somebody a little bit less than where he's ranked right now. Maybe I'd go, middle to late fourth round value right now to see if I could make that happen. I'd feel more comfortable with that. I'm a little bit I'm a little bit nervous that we're going to see another stretch of missed games from him because I do think that the Suns are trying to keep him from himself. But then again, Chris Paul has a lot of sway, and he might be able to force his way into the lineup so that he has that going for him. He's a guy who wants to play basketball. So I would be more comfortable starting with like a mid to late fourth rounder as opposed to going with somebody right around his value.
All right.
I'd be interested in buying low.
Yep. Gimme all the Chris Pauls. It's time. Maybe I'm a little overexcited. I got to try to dial it back a little bit. Of the old man squad, he was really like the only one that wasn't panning out. So now we got a chance to turn this sucker around. He missed, what was it now, 14 games? All right, Chris, you're going to have to play 68 this year. Oh, God, please. Come on, Chris Paul. Hang in there, buddy. Obviously, a much easier buy in Roto than head-to-head if there is that concern. So that's something that folks need to talk about as well. If you have any questions on any of this stuff, you can take them over to the Sports Ethos forums. I'm going to throw the link in the YouTube chat. So if you're watching this thing after the fact, that's where you can go and get your questions answered from myself, from Steve, from the rest of our awesome pros. This is our first ever breaking news video. We'll have more like it as more big news drops. We're not going to do this for top 100 dudes that turn an ankle. This will be for the big names, but this was the first. This was fun. Steve, until the next one, my good man.
I'll see you later.